Anyaha Gata Vyalikai Rajashankaradibihi Vitarkyalingo Bhagavan Prasidatam. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives special emphasis on the word Gata Vyalikaihi, by those who are above all pretensions. So according to Vedic literature, there are four kinds of transcendentalists: the karmis, the jnanis, the yogis, and the bhaktas. So actually in this entire universe, all the people, they can be classified into one among three. Either somebody will be a karmi, or he'll be a jnani, or yogi, or he'll be a devotee of the Lord. So these four transcendentalists are called transcendentalists. They are called transcendentalists because all of them are searching for eternal peace or eternal life. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, everyone is searching for eternal peace or eternal life. So everyone wants this. Everyone wants eternity. Everyone wants unlimited knowledge and unlimited happiness. So recently there was a news by a person by name Brian Johnson. He's a very famous entrepreneur, writer, social media influencer, and very, very popular person in the United States, Brian Johnson. So he's obsessed with his health. One of his important projects in life is to completely reverse the process of aging. You should not become old and you should not die, and you should never die. That is his objective. And in order to achieve this objective, he has employed 30 doctors personally for himself, who continuously monitor all his bodily parameters: the blood pressure, the sugar level, the protein content, the amount of phosphorus, zinc, iron, all these things. And every day, every moment, they keep giving reports to him. And he also takes necessary steps in order to counteract the process of aging. But recently the news came that he was suddenly diagnosed with one rare kind of disease by which his own stomach walls, they started behaving in such a way that his whole system is going to get deteriorated or decayed. And then he himself made a statement that maybe I have become too obsessed with this process of anti-aging. So we can see ultimately what is the aim of all people in this universe, which is very beautifully explained in our famous Prahlad Narasimha pastime. Hiranyakashipu, the first thing he wanted to do was, he understood that there is death, there is old age, there is disease. So he straight went to Brahma and said, make me deathless. After that, everything I will see. Whom to control, whom to enjoy, whom to conquer. All these things I will see later. But death I have to first conquer. So therefore, this is the ultimate aim of everyone in this world. Even Mark Zuckerberg, when he was asked, what are the questions answers to which you would like to know? What is it that you would like to achieve? You have achieved everything in this world. You have got so much fame. You are practically what you have created is running this whole world. So what is it that you would like to know? So he said, I want to know what is it that will make people live forever. So that means round and round, here and there, whatever achievements modern civilization may make, however powerful people may become, no matter how much advancement technology may create, ultimately it will come down to this. Mankind or human society or science and technology, they will want to find a way to live forever. So that is the ultimate objective. So, therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, everyone is searching for eternal peace or eternal life. So, everyone means these four categories of peoples: the karmis, the jnanis, the yogis, and the devotees. Anybody in this world, we can put them into one of these four categories. So, karmis, strictly speaking, according to the Vedic definition, are those who follow the rules and regulations of the Vedic scriptures very strictly. That means the system of papa and punya. This is punya karma, this is papa karma. This can be done, this cannot be done. And by following it very strictly, they acquire karma good karma and try to enjoy this world. They are called karmis. So in that sense, in this modern society, there are no real karmis actually. The correct appropriate term for them is vikarmis. Because vikarma means to do something against the Vedic scriptures. So in the Vedic scriptures, enjoyment of this world is allowed. But that enjoyment of this material world should be done within the boundary of the rules and regulations given in the Vedic scriptures. So those who do that, they are called karmis. Even meat eaters, for example, meat eating is a sinful activity. But even for them, there is consideration given. Once a month, you can go to the Kali temple and pick up a particular goat which has got this kind of color, this kind of ear, this kind of so many specifications are there, and chant specific mantras. On an Amavasya day, you can sacrifice that goat, and once a month you can consume meat. So the Vedic scriptures are very, very, very broad. Everybody's desires have to be accommodated in this world. So any activity, any kind of material enjoyment, there is a way. There is a Vedic way of doing it. And those who follow it are called karmis. Today, modern civilization, that is also not there. People are all vikarmis. They have rejected the Vedic, fundamental Vedic principle that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. In the previous life we had a body, in the next life we will have another body based on our karma. Therefore, there is so much frustration, there is so much suicide, there is so much pressure, there is so much comparison. So even if people want to peacefully enjoy this material world, they should accept the Vedic conclusion. Going back to Godhead is a very high principle. But even for someone who wants to enjoy this world, he should know he is not this body. And based on his karma, only certain desires will be fulfilled in the body. All the desires cannot be fulfilled in this life itself. And a civilization, a society which keeps giving false hope to the people, that every desire that comes in your mind can be fulfilled within this next 60, 70 years, simply work hard, is a very, very dangerous civilization. It is pushing people to the brink of frustration and ultimately suicide. Whereas the Vedic scriptures say, we are not this body, you are spirit soul, based on your previous karma you have acquired this body, certain things you can fulfill in this life. Certain desires can be fulfilled. But desires which cannot be fulfilled in this life, you need to perform punya. You need to perform punya, you need to acquire punya. And that punya acquiring may take time. 1 lifetime, 2 lifetimes, 3 lifetimes, it may take time. But eventually, your desire will get fulfilled. So formerly, people used to accept this conclusion. The civilization, the society used to move under this principle. All right, I have got a material body, I have got some intelligence, I have got some social status, I have got some financial ability, I have got certain talents and abilities. Within that, I can enjoy in this life. Beyond that, if I need to enjoy, I need to acquire more karma, more punya. I need to perform more punya, because with some amount of punya, I have got this level of Shri Krishna Rukmani Satyabhama ki jai. With some amount of punya, I have got some amount of intelligence, some amount of wealth, some kind of social status I have got. If I want more, then I need to perform more punya. So this consciousness was very much prevalent in former times. And therefore, there was no frustration. There was no suicidal tendency. People would know, they would wait for the next life. That solves all the problems. But today, it is not like that. People don't have this understanding. Everything must be achieved in the next 60, 70 years. Otherwise, life is useless. So actually, it is pushing people to the brink of frustration. So modern society and its false philosophy, it neither helps people to enjoy materially, where is the question of higher principles like going back to Godhead. So therefore, the fundamental principles of Sanatana Dharma have to be accepted. There is no escape. Even to enjoy this material world in a peaceful way, in a nice way, materially peaceful way, one has to accept the fundamental principles of Bhagavad Gita. There is no escape. So accepting the principles of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad-Bhagavatam and Sanatana Dharma is not only for people who want to go back to Godhead. That is a very high principle, the highest principle. is going back to Godhead. But between accepting the Vedic principles and going back to Godhead, there are multiple levels of material enjoyment is possible. So even that, if it is required, if people want to have some peaceful material life, then they should have. Just like in today's world, the biggest problem, recently there was a short video by Madhu Pandit Prabhu about comparison. Everybody is frustrated because of this comparison problem. A couple of weeks back, we had conducted our first Gita Life session. So we had asked them, what are the biggest problems, challenges you are facing? First, the answer that came out is this comparison is the biggest problem we are facing because of social media. Anything we do, anything our neighbors or friends or relatives we do, immediately it gets loaded on social media and immediately there is comparison. Then our mind becomes disturbed. So formerly also people were there, society was there, rich people were there, poor people were there, different levels of social status were there, all those things were there. But because of this Vedic accepting and living as per the Vedic conclusion, everybody knew there is one Supreme Lord, Paramatma, who has given different peoples different levels of facilities, different levels of intelligence, different degrees of social status. If I want, I can also pray to the Supreme Lord, and I can also get, may not be in this life, but maybe in next life. Therefore, people were more or less peaceful. Materially, they were peaceful. Today, that is also not there. So, transcendentalists, coming back to this point, transcendentalists are of four types: karmis, jnanis, yogis, and bhaktas. So, the karmis are those who strictly follow the rules and regulations of the Vedic scriptures and in that way try to enjoy this world. And the jnanis are those who are more or less done with this process of material enjoyment. Many, many lifetimes they would have performed punya and then enjoyed this material world, and then it has become little troublesome. Again, because punya also takes great effort. It is not easy to perform the punya which are mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. Thousands of cows have to be given in charity, trees have to be planted, you have to dig bore wells, you have to dig wells, then you have to create anadashrayama, then you have to create anadanam, you have to do so many punya karma you have to do. Sacrifice, lot of sacrifice has to be done. Then punya is accumulated, then one tries to enjoy. So the jnanis are people who are done with all these things. And they are looking for some higher ananda. Therefore, jnanis are very fond of the word brahmanandam. They have understood this material pleasure is not giving me real satisfaction. They're looking for brahmanandam, some kind of spiritual bliss. So they want to become one with the Supreme Lord by the process of mental speculation. So their process is neti, na iti. This is not Brahman, this is not Brahman, this is not Brahman, this is not Brahman. Like that, mind is not Brahman, intelligence is not Brahman, false ego is not Brahman, the senses are not Brahman, the trees, the plants, the animals, the demigods, the devatas, Brahman, nobody is Brahman. This way they try to find out what is Brahman and try to become one with that. So karmis, jnanis. Then yogis are another category of transcendentalists who are trying to perform the process of Ashtanga Yoga and ultimately try to reach the super soul, have darshan of Paramatma within the heart. And by the way, they can also get lot of yoga shaktis, siddhis. They can become lighter than the lightest. They can become heavier than the heaviest. They can suddenly get what they want. Prabhupada mentions in one place, there was one yogi sitting here, he could get pomegranates from Afghanistan. That subtle power he had. So there are other yogis who, we have seen in our country. They suddenly get vibhuti, suddenly get some gold, suddenly get some rice. So common people are very much appreciative of such yogic siddhis. So yoga siddhi is there. So yogi, so karmi, jnani, yogi. And finally the bhaktas or the unalloyed devotees of the Lord. So these are four classes of transcendentalists. But among them, among the four, only the devotees of the Lord can actually achieve real peace and real eternity. Why? Because they know the Supreme Lord. Only they can know the Supreme Lord. And why only they can know the Supreme Lord, the others cannot know? Because, as Prabhupada mentions, they are transcendental to all pretensions. So the entire verse is centered around this verse, Gatavyali by those who are above all pretensions. So pretension, if we go to the dictionary, is defined as trying to be something which we are not. Trying to act or behave or think or feel in a way which is not us, which is not our natural position. So the karmis, the jnanis, and the yogis are classified as being with pretensions. Why? Because they do not accept their constitutional position as servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord. And because of that, the karmis, the jnanis, and the yogis are classified as having pretension. Now, pretension, if you see, further Srila Prabhupada mentions that in the beginning of the battlefield, in the beginning, Arjuna placed himself as one who desired self-satisfaction. But because he was without any pretension, he changed his decision and satisfied the Lord. So pretentious, the karmis and jnanis and yogis are called pretentious because they need this world to perform, to achieve, and get the adulation from this world. They need an audience. If the audience of this material world is not there, then the karmis, the jnanis, and the yogis do not have any motivation to perform austerities. In the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna mentions this. Kim no rajyena govinda, kim bhogair jivitena va, yesham arte kangshitam no, rajyam bhoga sukhanicha. Apitrailokya rajyasya heto kim no mahikrite, nihatya dhartarashtranna kapritir syad janardana. O Govinda, of what avail to us our kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed in this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and all relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, though I may survive? O Lord of all, O maintainer of all creatures, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions, this is a typical material calculation. This is a typical calculation of material life. Why? Because all that is achieved, because Arjuna was saying, I fight this war, I achieve everything. If somebody there should be there to show off. No. Everybody is finished in the war. Who is there? All relatives are gone, with whom I will enjoy all these things. So this is accepted as pretentious behavior. But Arjuna, free from all pretensions, he agreed to fight and satisfied the Lord. Karishye vachanam tava. So in other words, the karmis, the jnanis, and the yogis are all trapped by pretension. That means they need this material world to perform, and they need an audience to whom they can show and they can get some appreciation. Without that, the karmis, the yogis, and the jnanis cannot undertake the austerities. What for? What for I should do? That feeling is there. Whereas the devotees of the Lord who are coming in the, Prabhupada writes, the four desireless Vaishnava Sampradayas in the purport. Brahma, Lord Shiva, Srimati Lakshmi, and the four Kumaras. These four Sampradayas are giving this spiritual knowledge of how to become desireless. That means the knowledge which is received from these four bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas is free from all pretension. That means the four Vaishnava Sampradayas are teaching its followers and the people in general, do not try to perform activity to please the people of this world. Do not try to take austerity to please the people of this material world. Do not try to work hard so that you can show off to this material world. This knowledge is available only in these four Vaishnava Sampradayas. Therefore, Prabhupada is writing that they are all the leaders of the four desireless Vaishnava Sampradayas. So, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Srimati Lakshmi, and the four Kumaras are the leaders of the four bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas, where the devotees or the followers of these Sampradayas are taught and trained to perform austerity for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord and not for satisfying the people of this world. And because the karmis and jnanis and yogis do not have this knowledge, so whatever activity they do, whatever endeavor they take, whatever tapasya they undertake, it is all for this material world, for satisfying the people of this world, which is completely contradictory to the process of pure devotional service. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha. The pure devotee of the Lord, whatever he does, it is kama sankalpa varjitaha. There is no tinge of personal enjoyment in such an action. Everybody else, the karmis, the jnanis, and the yogis, they are all trapped by this pretentious behavior. They need this material world. They need the people of this world to applaud and appreciate. Only then they are motivated to take austerity. Only the pure devotees of the Lord who are coming in one of these four bona fide sampradayas can endeavor and perform activity and take austerity solely for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So we see that in the life of Srila Prabhupada also. That Prabhupada endeavored so much. He worked so hard. He put so much effort, even when his health was failing. But never Prabhupada ever put his name in the front. He always put Krishna's name in the front. This is possible only for a pure devotee of the Lord who is descending from the spiritual world, who is coming one of these four bona fide sampradayas. Why? Because the pure devotee of the Lord, like Srila Prabhupada, is constantly able to relish a higher spiritual happiness of glorifying and giving enjoyment to Krishna. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, param drishtva nivartate, rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So the karmis, the yogis and the jnanis are trapped by this material rasa. They need this material world to perform, people to appreciate. Then their life can go on. They are trapped. Only the pure devotee of the Lord who has received this knowledge from one of these four bona fide sampradayas can come to this stage of param drishtva nivartate. That means the pure devotee of the Lord is able to enjoy a higher spiritual pleasure of glorifying Krishna, of seeing Krishna glorified. So much so that that happiness is far, far, far superior to any personal glorification. When Srila Prabhupada was trying to get the land for Bombay, and that Mr. XYZ, whoever was trying to give trouble, Prabhupada's disciples were saying, why should we go and fight so much? What is the necessity? So much other land is available. Why not go elsewhere and build a temple? But Prabhupada put his foot down and said, no, the Lord has come. The deities have come here. If he is removed, that is a great insult for the Lord. I will not allow. So, from material calculation, many of the disciples of Prabhupada could not understand why Prabhupada is so adamant. So much land is there. So many other places we can buy a land and build a temple. Why is Prabhupada hell-bent on fighting with this person? Why he wants this particular land only? So that is a higher transcendental rasa. A pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada is able to relish that the deities have come, the worship of the Lord has happened. Now under any circumstances, if it is removed, it is an insult to the Lord. Therefore, Prabhupada fought till the end. Not out of personal consideration. So therefore, this transcendental knowledge is received in one of these four sampradayas, or all the four sampradayas, how to become desireless and become free from all pretension. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada further quotes from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Shanta. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi Kami, Shakale Ashanta. Except for the pure devotee of the Lord, who has received this knowledge from the bona fide sampradaya, everybody is ashanta. Nobody is peaceful because they have something to gain for themselves. So as long as this consciousness is there, it is not possible to become perfectly peaceful. Whereas Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Shanta. So that is what is mentioned in this verse also. Gatavyalikaira Shankaradibihi. Shukadeva Goswami is saying, Brahmaji, Lord Shiva, and such personalities who are all leaders of the four Vaishnava sampradayas, they are freed from all pretensions. They don't endeavor, they don't act, they don't take austerity so that they will get some appreciation from the people of this world. They endeavor, they take austerity, they work very hard, only to see the Lord glorified exclusively. And they take great pleasure in glorifying the Supreme Lord. And therefore, they are able to achieve eternal peace and eternal life. Everybody else is trapped. That is why in the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna mentions Karma Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga also. Among the four, the other three yogas are for people who cannot surrender to Krishna, who cannot accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still they must be engaged in some kind of spiritual activity. For them, the other three processes are there. Whereas Bhakti Yoga is for one who is ready to accept Krishna. That is why Arjuna, in the end, he said, Karishye vachanam tava, I will do whatever you say. And Prabhupada mentions, Arjuna gave up all pretensions by making that statement. He simply agreed to do whatever Krishna wants. So therefore, this path of becoming free from all pretentious behavior is available only in the four Vaishnava Sampradayas. Therefore, it is very important that the knowledge of the Vedic scriptures must be received only from these four Vaishnava Sampradayas. Others, even though they may be scholarly, even though they may have some knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad-Bhagavatam and the Vedic scriptures, this complete desirelessness is not there. And therefore, knowledge, if not received from one of these four Vaishnava Sampradayas, will not ultimately lead a person to the Supreme Lord. He will have to come back to the path of birth and death. As Krishna says, Aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. He comes back to this path of birth and death. So that is why Shukadeva Goswami, special stress is given to the devotional service of the Lord by Srila Shukadeva Goswami. That is how Srila Prabhupada ends this purport. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Prema.